book known as the Acts of the Apostles is an incredibly important book in the New Testament as it bridges the two major sections of the New Testament. First, you've got the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which tell us about the life of Jesus, his birth, death, resurrection. And then the second part of the New Testament are the letters of Paul and what we know as the general epistles and the book of Revelation. And standing between the two is the Acts of the Apostles, because it is literally volume 2 of Luke's Gospel, written by the same author that penned Luke's Gospel, to give us an account of what happened after Jesus ascended to heaven. What happened to his disciples? What happened to the early church? And what we see there is the original disciples becoming the apostles of Jesus, sent out by Jesus to witness to people about him from Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, through to the ends of the earth. And that really gives you the program of the whole book. It's a fascinating narrative. It's really fun to read. And the first part really focuses on what the apostles are doing in Jerusalem, with a special focus on the apostle Peter and all the things that he gets up to. But then the focus switches to the Apostle Paul. First we hear about how Paul became a Christian, because we're told that at first he was actually an opponent, a vehement opponent of the followers of Jesus. But then after seeing the resurrection of Jesus for himself, he becomes a follower of Jesus and then an apostle to the Gentiles. And so the second half of the book of the Apostles, the Acts of the Apostles, we follow Paul and his really amazing adventure story. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you read the Acts of the Apostles is it's really helpful to read Paul's letters alongside the narrative of where he's going and what he's doing and who he's talking to and what he's saying, because it gives you a whole lot of history and cultural context to understand the letters. What's going on in the church in Ephesus, for example, you can read about that in Acts chapter 19, and then you read the letter to the Ephesians and it makes more sense. It gives you more background, it gives you more context. So that's one of the main tips for reading the Acts of the Apostles. Don't read it in isolation, but read it first as volume 2 of Luke's Gospel. So if you read Luke's Gospel, then volume 2, it makes a lot more sense. But then also keep the letters of Paul handy as you follow his 3 missionary journeys and then his final trip, ending the book in the city of Rome.